Good evening, folks, and welcome. Tonight we'll be doing a little get to know MH video. Obviously, I'm a bit more casual than normal as I am sitting here in my cozy clothes in the middle of a thunderstorm. So consider, yep, there goes another one. Consider that some additional ambiance for the video tonight. Tonight is going to be a little bit longer video. Figured I'd let you guys know what was going on, a little life update too, as well as the kind of get to know me video. So, life update wise, I took a couple of weeks off for vacation, and then I took a couple more weeks off for mental health reasons. Suffice to say, like a lot of you, I'm also dealing with stuff. And true to my own advice, I take the time necessary when I need to. So I always advise you guys to do the same. And it's nothing serious, it's just, never give up, never surrender, keep pushing on, keep creating. But yeah, it's been a little off lately. So back, got a lot more fun stuff coming, going to do some reevaluation. Let me know, by the way, in the comments below if you guys want me to do more of these videos, like once a month or whatever, as well as if you prefer the more casual MH rather than the jacketed and button-up shirt MH. So yeah, so a little bit about me. I am actually 36 years old and been working on creative stuff for a long time. It's kind of always been my passion. And I took the summer off actually to focus specifically on trying to get a head start on some stuff finally. In particular, I've been working on a sci-fi novel. I also have a fantasy novel, but that's temporarily shelved until I can actually finish the sci-fi novel because I keep bouncing back and forth between and getting nothing done. So I decided to just buckle down, focus, and I've actually made some pretty good progress on the sci-fi world and novel. I'm primarily a world builder when it comes to my writing, so I tend to build the world completely first and then draw stories out of it. Although this one kind of started with a concept first and then built the world around that from there. So I'm excited at some point to kind of start revealing little bits of that. But for now, channel update wise, I'm going to be launching Sun Tzu's The Art of War, as well as Sherlock Holmes. We're going to do the last couple of chapters for the first part of Pride and Prejudice and then take a break on that because I need to do something else for a little bit and also add some more variety to the channel. Going to be dropping down to just one drink video a week on Thursdays and focusing back on mixed drinks again. I'm actually going to start posting some of my own creations as well. Well, beyond that, back to more about me. So trade-wise, I'm a bartender. I'll be getting back to that probably the next couple weeks here as my summer sabbatical comes to a close. But the main passion I've always had, don't get me wrong, I love cooking and mixing drinks, but career passion-wise, my big focus has always been, my dream has always been to act, to do voice acting, and to write, and get my novels out there, and then kind of draw from those novels. Like I'm also working simultaneously as I'm writing my novel. I'm writing a tabletop RPG for it as well. Mostly because I'm sick of Wizards of the Coast's crap, and so it's like, well, guess we'll make our own game with blackjack, and you guys know how the rest of that saying goes. But so yes, that's always kind of been my passion. I am actually autistic. I was diagnosed 5 years ago, rather unwittingly. I ended up going into grief counseling after my ex left, and crazily enough, she also happened to be an MD who did autism diagnoses, and so kind of ended up unwittingly walked right into that, which I'm also, so just, as those of you who know me personally or have seen this channel probably figured out, I am a believer in Christ. I try to emulate, to show that through actions rather than beating people over the head with a Bible, because I think that's stupid. And I don't think that's how Christ actually wants us to work. But so yeah, so I'm a believer. So in my view, obviously getting a diagnosed with autism was less serendipitous and a lot more providential. But make of that what you will. So yeah, so I'm a believer. Back to being autistic. So autism for me has always been kind of a touchy thing, and I don't really like to talk about it, just because the stigma against it's so strong, especially in the area I live in. It's more of a, we'll call it an old-fashioned kind of area of the world, and the stigma is pretty strong, and a lot of people still don't quite understand how broad of a spectrum autism is, as well as how much it can affect your life behind the scenes. And so for me, I'm often in the middle of either an anxiety or a depression cycle because I'm a good actor and always have been. I mean, I check off all those stupid boxes of like people who mask autism very well because honestly, it doesn't overly affect me if I am in a situation like I am now, where I've got a set. I have thought about this beforehand. And it honestly doesn't affect me too much bartending because I can kind of put on a mask and play a piece of myself as a character, as a bartender. And so autism for me, like, how does it affect me? It doesn't really affect my ability to communicate because, if anything, I've learned just to express myself. Trying to navigate neurotypical behaviors, especially in a more traditional society, has been interesting to say the least. But I guess the gist of it for me is there are some major upsides to my brain wiring and some major downsides. I don't really identify it as part of my personality so much as it is how I have to work around my brain wiring to get my personality out. But, so for me, the downsides, I actually do struggle very heavily with social identification. In other words, emotional identification on people's faces. Now, if things are obvious, like someone's obviously happy, obviously sad, those things are not so hard for me to identify. What really gets me is subtleties. I can't really tell the difference between slightly sad, so like melancholy, annoyed, frustrated, bored, or tired. All those look the exact same to me. And so it generates a lot of anxiety because I can feel gut-wise that something's off, but my gut and my brain don't speak the same language a lot of the time. And it creates an immense amount of stress because, you want to help or you feel something's off. And so your gut's screaming at you that something's wrong and your brain's like, no hablo inglés. And so that's probably where my biggest struggle with it comes. And again, I mask it extremely well. It's one of the reasons why I'm a good actor. I'm able to mimic and parody traits very well. Not that I'm faking them, but for me, it takes conscious effort to push my personality out. So think of it where a lot of neurotypicals, a lot of folks in general, obviously majority of people are neurotypical, function with their subconscious running on autopilot constantly. I don't really have a subconscious. I have to be consciously active and thinking about things all the time. And so because of having to donate so much brain power and processing power, I guess, to having to remember, social cues, emotional cues, desperately trying to decipher subtle emotions, remember to smile, remember to make eye contact, remember to push your personality out and don't go blank-faced because you're a big, scary, muscle-lifting dude and with a beard, and everyone's apparently gets nervous around that. And I think that's always really hurtful for me, is a lot of my friends have said when they first met me that they were incredibly intimidated. I'm like, okay, oops. Not that I'm not capable. I mean, obviously, it's one of my hobbies is weight training, and I've been practicing for the Highland Games, starting to finally. I very much enjoy lifting. I lift primarily for strength. I don't really try to look pretty, but so I do a lot of powerlifting sets and a lot of powerlifting training and working on movement, especially for Highland Games, to be able to do a lot of those throws. Other hobbies are reading, writing, drawing, because obviously world building, I like to do every little aspect of it. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, so one of the other things you'll probably notice, getting back to being neurodivergent, is that I don't ever drink my drinks, which is like a huge no-no for videos. Like, you're always supposed to eat your food, you're always supposed to drink on screen. People like that, it draws attention. And I'm like, but I find it disgusting to the point where it makes me actually nauseous. So I don't do it because I want to make content for people who might be like me and might be a little bit more sensitive to things like that. There's also a lot of like chewing noises, for example, really get to me. I am very sound sensitive towards a lot of things, and I just fake it. I just fake that I'm okay until I can get home and de-stress from it, because that builds up throughout the day and makes it incredibly hard as I mask, because the more I mask, the more it builds up and the more I have to find an outlet for it when I get home, because I am sensitive to a lot of different sounds and feelings too. Like, so I prefer to have comfy clothes on, soft things, cloth, and yeah, so as I begin to ramble a little bit, and apologies, but again, getting to know a little bit more of me and a little bit less of my bartending character, which is kind of when I'm narrating, when I'm reading, that's very much me. It's simply one particular side of me, whereas this is more what you would see if you were sitting in my parlor with me having a drink. But yeah, so I am very sensitive to certain sounds, especially sudden high-pitched noises. Bass actually has the exact opposite of it. It's very soothing for me. So I tend to listen to a lot of heavy metal. So a lot of metal, a lot of classical, anything with a lot of power and bass behind it. So classical, bass heavy EDM, electronica in general, a lot of soundtracks to movies, a lot of heavy metal, a lot of very bass heavy rap, all very pleasing for me. Johnny Cash is the only country I really like. Sorry, folks who like country. It's just something about that twang I do not enjoy. So yeah, I guess I'm actually going to probably wrap it up here. So yeah, like I said, if any of my videos have been helpful for you guys, and if it's content that is bringing something to you, please hop onto my YouTube. You can search Beard Time Stories, all one word. I might be changing that to just MH Sterling though, because I do more than just the stories, obviously. And I think part of my problem with the YouTube channel is I'm not marketing it very well. So yeah, if this has been something that's good for you guys, please remember to follow, subscribe, do all those things for the algorithm, because it's not helping smaller creators right now without a lot of effort from you guys. And I would appreciate that, because I want to be able to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube and on TikTok, so that way I can actually start doing live reads and live bedtime stories and live chats where we can just talk, and any questions you guys have I can answer. Anything you want to talk about, we can talk about. Kind of a throwback to what me and my friends do every week in my parlor, actually, which the set behind me is kind of set up specifically to emulate the color and feel of my parlor. When I when I bought this house, I actually designed my entire front room to look like a modern Baker Street from Sherlock Holmes. So yeah, like I said, if this has been good for you guys and you guys enjoy this style, please let me know. Like I said, I'm trying to take the channel in kind of a new direction to see what we can do with it, because I want to use the channel to help people. That is my biggest thing. I want to inspire people. I want to kind of pass along my soul is on fire 24/7. I am filled with passion and fury all of the time, and it is burning constantly just beneath the surface. So I want to be able to pass that fire on to people. I want to be able to ignite you guys' hearts and souls and minds, and I want to see people grow. I want to see all of you who happen to find this channel become better versions of yourselves. I want you guys to actually strive for your dreams, because you can do it, and I fervently believe in you. So yeah, remember to do all those algorithm things. Look me up on TikTok at mhsterling, on Instagram at m.h.sterling, and Beard Time Stories on YouTube. So like I said, if you guys could help me out with that, that'd be great. But other than that, you are loved. You are most loved. You are enough. Never give up. Never surrender. Sleep well, folks. And I'll talk to you soon. There's a lot coming. Have a good night.